You know, for years, politicians and others have talked about this idea of a tax return the size of a postcard. And that's what our commenter today is getting at. You can see the comment down here. 1940 Limited is saying the IRS is way too powerful and should be disbanded. What happened to Trump's idea of filing with a simple postcard? Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to Trump's proposal, to the first Trump administration's postcard tax return proposal. Okay? I'm going to tell you what happened with that at the end of this video. But first, let's go back in time a bit. Let's go back to the early 1980s, okay? Let's go back to this Wall Street Journal article from Thursday, December 10th, 1981. Were you born yet at that point? Let me know in the comments. This is a proposal in the journal by Robert Hall. These are a couple of economists, Robert E. Hall and Alvin Rabushka, a proposal to simplify our tax system. Now they're talking about basically kind of like a flat tax, essentially, right? And you can kind of see this language down here. The tax would be found on the following principles. All income should be taxed only once as close as possible to the source. All types of income should be taxed at the same rate. That's a flat tax. Poorest households should pay no income tax. And check this out. Tax returns for both households and businesses should be simple enough to fit on a postcard or on a single page. This is the earliest reference I could find. You know, this is some 45 years ago to a postcard tax return. Okay, and you know the idea gained some momentum in the 80s. You know, 1986 with the big Tax Reform Act of 1986 under Reagan, kind of reorganized the tax code and everything. And there were some simplifications in there. There are also some more complexities added too, but nothing that made the tax return, you know, a simple postcard. And I mean, you know, and that's the reality of the thing. Like our tax system is so complicated. But look at the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, right? That made even more complications. The senior deduction, the auto loan interest deduction, right? I mean, all these things that they keep on adding every year, right? Or not necessarily every year, but every few years they take some away, and some provisions are going to sunset. You know, the tax return, the actual form itself, that's just kind of the output, right? There's this whole complexity in our tax code itself, you know, that makes that a very difficult thing to do, just for everyone to file a tax return on a postcard. You know, anyway, back to our history lesson. This, you know, idea continued to gain momentum in the 90s. Flat tax, here's the same two economists, you know, tax, and they open up this paper for this conference, you know, tax forms can really fit on postcards, right? That's like a big thing. You know, here's like their proposal for what that postcard tax return would look like. You know, there were senators talking about, this is from 1995, you know, we have some senator talking about his idea of he says it's his idea. I mean, the idea had been around for 15 years already. His idea of a complete federal income tax filing one side of a postcard size return will be part of the 1996 presidential election debate. Right? So, you know, it's not new, this idea. But then, you know, during his first term, a big push that Trump had was tax reform, right? And check this out. Back in June 2018, this was before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Actually, no, this was after the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act had been passed. You know, June 2019, Treasury IRS announced development of postcard-sized Form 1040 for 2019. And I remember hearing this as an accountant. I was like, how are they going to do that? You know, delivering on the promise to simplify taxes for the American people, the U.S. Department of the Treasury and the IRS today announced that Americans will be able to fill out their individual income tax returns on a single postcard-sized form for the 2019 tax season. It'll replace the current Form 1040 as part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. This administration committed to making taxes simple and fair for American families. We're delivering on this promise, said Treasury Secretary Stephen T. Mnuchin. The new postcard-sized Form 1040 is designed to simplify and expedite filing tax returns, providing much-needed relief to hardworking taxpayers. Okay, so yeah, Trump had this idea, right? I mean, it was not his idea; it was not original to him. But what do we get, guys? What do we get with that 2018 tax return? And I was actually on Twitter about this recently. Somebody taxed it. This was, you know, back in February. Every once in a while, I open up a vintage 2017 1040 reminisce, right? And I know what he's talking about because I said, and then 2018 hit, and like, wham, here are 6 random schedules for all the things you just used to put on the 1040 itself, right? What am I talking about? All right, so let's go back down memory lane. So this is the 2017 tax return, right? Before the Trump postcard, right? This, 2 pages, whatever, a lot of lines. Okay, ready for the Trump postcard idea? This is the 2018 1040. Oh, look at that, it's postcard. But yeah, all that's on this like postcard here is just your basic name and social and your dependents' names and socials and your signature, right? I guess on the other side of the postcard is this. Okay, so it's fewer lines than 1040 itself, but what did we get? We got 6 freaking schedules. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5, Schedule 6. All stuff that used to be contained, or a lot of it, most of it, on the 1040 itself, right? And this was kind of a nightmare. Like, we used to have on the 1040 itself capital gain or loss, right? Well, in 2017 we did. And then, spoiler alert, we do once again now. I'll show you the current 1040, right? So, you used to have, capital gain or loss on the 1040 itself, right? 2017. 2018 though, that goes on Schedule 1. And then you got to add all these other, and your Schedule C income goes on Schedule 1, right? And all this stuff goes on Schedule 1. And you got to add them all up, right, for this number here. And you put that number on Form 1040 line 6, right, total, and then here you add that amount. And in this amount was your capital gains, all this stuff from right here, right? So this number doesn't really mean much anyway, right? And it's the same thing with the other schedules, right? You got to add up stuff on them and then put them on the line on the return. Not really this one. And it's just a mess. It was annoying. I mean, we still have like schedules 1, 2, and 3, right? They got rid of like all 6. That was just too many. But guess what? Now here we are, right? 7 whatever years later. Look at the 2025 1040. It kind of looks a lot like the 2017 1040, right? Right? I mean, it's not as much stuff because we still have some schedules, right? 2017 was like, 79 lines. 2025 38 lines, right? Because we still do have like schedules 1, 2, and 3 that sum up stuff. But so I guess to answer the question here, what happened to Trump's idea of filing with a simple postcard? Well, they tried it, people hated it, right? Because just the first page was now kind of technically postcard size, but it made it more complicated and just ungainly and made it awkward and clumsy, really. Okay, so that's what happened. And I'm sure, probably in 10 years we'll have maybe someone else talking about the postcard tax return thing again, right? I mean, this is not new. Nothing new under the sun. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Logan Alec. I'm a CPA on Choice Tax Relief. If you owe the IRS for your state at least $10,000 in back taxes, or you have multiple years of tax returns you need to get filed, you qualify for a free consultation with us here at Choice Tax Relief. Give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or you can book a free consultation using a link in the description below. That's wonderful. All right, folks, I have some other videos about just taxes on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.